adoption's there. I think 2026, for a lot of reasons, will be the year of adoption of crypto. There's a lot going on behind the scenes. You're able to do things like launch a DAO in the US as a LLC, right? That's able to be done already as a registered and like seen entity, a legal entity LLC that is a DAO, literally. So there's so much optimism, so much that is going in our favor, right? And it's our time to continue to build at the same time as that, right? So put ourselves in a position where when mass adoption really kicks in, and we're not there yet, but we're on the path there, that we can utilize what we've built so that community can now grow with us. And the other side is education too. I think this should also be the year that everybody learns about crypto, right? That should be everyone's um, New Year's resolution. Learn about blockchain and crypto because it will be in our lives, whether we like it or not, right? We love it, obviously, but for those that are weary about it, I think this is the year you should tell a friend about it, have them learn about it, educate them where you can, but at the same time, send them to resources where they can easily learn the starting points of blockchain and crypto so they can utilize it, right? This could be towards healthcare. This could be towards DeFi. This could be towards a lot of different things, artwork and NFTs, and it starts with one explanation, one little seed that you plant that they end up learning. That this journey doesn't happen in a day to learn and understand blockchain itself and what can be done with it and how we can utilize it to better our lives. It happens within weeks, if not months, maybe years for some, to fully grasp what this is and how it works and how they can utilize it in their day to day life. So I think that's important too. I think education um, is imperative to our success. And the easier we make it for everybody, the easier it is for that mass adoption effect to happen, right? And that comes with our success. The more people coming in there, the more ability for all of us to succeed there is. A rising tide rises all ships. So as much as we have this tribalism in different cryptos of my coin is better than your coin or my thing is better than that, um, until we start working together and start all pushing towards the same goals, mass adoption, a decentralized system where we control over our data and our finances and the rest, we don't achieve that because mass adoption doesn't happen, right? Um, and this will survive so many things, right? Like you look what's happening in places like Iran right now that's having like a upside down flip of what's that administration and the status quo, and we'll see what comes out of there. But uh, with the currency, main currency from a country, you have the ability for it to come and go. With a digital currency that's decentralized, it'll survive one country's turbulence, right? It's not dependent on one country. It's dependent on the system itself that's global, right? So yeah, I think we have a lot to look forward to this year. I think we're turning the corner. Every year, mass adoption is getting closer and closer, and it's about being ready when it happens, and not after it happens, before it happens. So us, the work we've done, the work we do, the development and the growth that we have year over year, month over month, is extremely important. And people, when they look at projects that they get involved in, or invest in, or hold, or participate in, right? Your attention is valuable. So at the end of the day, where you put your attention in brings success. Some a project that has no attention given to it from its community members, a lot of times doesn't do well. So be active, ask those questions, like I've said many times, right? That's how you give us the feedback we need to change, to adapt, to move in a different direction if needed, but to stay committed, stay focused, and the rest, right?
Definitely, Richie, and that is the amazing things you put it in your um, I mean this delivery, and it was amazing. Okay, I'm at the start I was having the cough, so I was on mute, and then I really didn't felt like, unmuting, because I you were going through, you were really explaining the intricacies of the Web3 ecosystem, right? End of the day, I think each and every community member should take this initiative to make sure to understand the ecosystem, the technology. I mean, I can understand that it can be like overwhelming at
Yeah.
the start, but once you start having a grasp of it, once you start trade, like do couple of trades on the decentralized exchanges, move your assets through different couple of wallets, just try withdrawing, depositing couple of things, and you will just start having the hang of it. And see, as you said, and I mean, I everybody on this call, like right now, would be listening to the show also. I personally think that would definitely agree that the future of finance is crypto. There is no other
Yeah.
way. Okay, there is
Yeah.
no second thing to it. And
It's so much more
when it comes
efficient
to the,
and
exactly, I mean, come on guys, just for a second, think about the transactions you have been doing in with the banks, and in the past it had been miserable, okay? And with the crypto, it has the tech, and that's the role of technology in the human evolution itself, right? So Richie, I think that is not debate, like I think it is outside of the debate that the future of finance is crypto, because it is, I think. And
yeah.
when it comes to the crypto, there is nothing bigger than the bitcoin, right? And there will never ever be. That is the real OG, correct? The
Yeah.
real OG Satoshi Nakamoto. I mean, whoever okay, let's not, I mean,
Bitcoin was
let's
the
not get
foundation
into
of
that.
crypto, right?
Yeah, exactly, right. This is a very simple thing. I mean, it is not that during the time of Einstein this mathematics was not available,
Yeah.
right? The blockchain is not a new technology if you are thinking in that way, right? Because the cryptography has always been there since centuries and centuries and generations. It's not something which we developed recently, okay? And I think it would be there for maybe thousands of years on the earth, okay? So it's not something new which we built, but um, the way it is, it comes into the day-to-day life of the people. And as you were really saying, Richie, right, that adoption, that is the golden question, right? That when the adoption comes, how the adoption comes, who will lead the adoption, who will be competing, who will stay alive till the uh, you know aftermath, etc. But I think the real question there is, everybody will grow, okay? The OGs will always be there,
This
Bitcoin will
abundance.
always be
Yes.
there.
Yeah.
Exactly, that is the awareness. Like, I mean, the eco finance is not a small thing, right? When we call like crypto is a future of finance, that finance is not a small word.
Yes.
It runs the world. I mean, it runs the livelihood and life of so many billions of people. So
Yeah.
I mean,
There's so much growth still to happen. A
yes,
lot of people think they missed the Bitcoin's 100,000, right? Like, oh, I missed it. It's so that opportunity's over. When people realize, like, we don't even have 10% of the population in crypto yet, right? But you have banks, institutions, and governments adopting and starting to use crypto for tokenization, starting to use it for DeFi. Banks are starting to use stable coins as a tool and mechanism, right? We're going to be so much more efficient, so much more, what do you call it? So much more clean and operating at levels that we never thought of before because of the trustlessness of blockchain, right? Because the ability to trade anywhere in the world within seconds and have the cost of that be fractions of what it was before, right? Um, the system's about to get an upgrade. We're about to go from like a Suzuki to a Ferrari type thing, a Honda to a Ferrari when it comes to efficiency and trustlessness and the rest. And if we do it right, we can open up an era of adoption slash progress in humanity that we've never seen before. Now, it was so critical that when we make this change, when we have this evolution that's about to happen here, that we go the right way with it, right? And everyone has different opinions on what that is. Some want to do central bank digital currencies, which obviously I don't want to do. That brings even more control to governments where they have to prove they deserve that trust especially what's happened last several years. Um, I think we shouldn't even think of that option. I think a decentralized mechanism is the only way forward because we have to be able to protect our finances, right? We've seen around the world governments go, um, I don't want to say rogue, but be able to lock down accounts and shut down that your livelihood overnight. Right, this happened in Canada a few years back when the convoys happened, and that shouldn't be an option that's available to them. Right, your finances and your wealth, your savings, your nest egg, whatever you want to call it, should not ever have the ability for someone else to affect that or negate that completely. Stop trading, like be able to buy something with the finances you have tomorrow because someone else doesn't agree with something you said or did, right? And there's obviously there's extremes to everything, but we're at that point where we have to make a decision, right? What will we use? What crypto will it be? Is it backed by gold? Is it backed by something else? Is it backed by a US dollar? And then how we will interact with that and use that in day to day life. At the end of the day, if everyone tomorrow decided to use Bitcoin as the currency and we trade it back and forth, guess what they'd have to adopt? Bitcoin as a currency, right? Because everyone is using it, right? As much as you can go blue in your face and say use this or use that, if no one uses it, then you're just talking to an empty room with no one in there. So your voice, your actions, your participation holds so much value, right? That's why there's so much effort being made with television and social media to get your attention, to get you to buy things they want you to buy, to use things they want you to use, to think in a way that they want you to think. You guys don't realize, or maybe you do, but most people don't, just how powerful our attention is. What we spend money on is, what we interact with is. That's a currency in itself, right? The commodity of human interaction, human participation. Um, that's the life and blood of success, right? The more people you have in SCAI that are active and participating in the network, the more successful SCAI will be. The more people that stake and lock up liquidity to help maintain and sustain this healthy ecosystem, the more sustainable it'll be, the more successful it'll be. So yeah, we're it's exciting. It's one of those times where like we're gonna look back 5 years from now and see what it was and what it became, and be like, back then this and this was happening, and we were trying to do this, but then years later, like maybe that this we focused on something else completely different, went a different path, or everything we thought we were building we'd finished and we brought out and it was successful, and the rest, right? We don't know the future. We just know where we'd like to end up at, but the path there is still to be decided, right? The exact things that happen on the way there still needs to be decided. So we'll see. It's going to be a lot of adoption coming soon, and we have to be ready for it. So hence we continue head
Yeah,
down, building, growing, evolving.
definitely, Richie. And when you were discussing the real, like when value of a stable coin by, um, I mean, we all about a stable coin as a like, the
U.S.
comes to
dollar.
mind is like USDT, like US dollars, right?
Yeah,
And I mean, I've also said it before, but I mean, I have started, I mean, losing faith on dollar. Okay. And I mean, again,
since
this
when?
is my personal opinion, but yeah, I mean,
Yep.
this is my personal opinion. I think I don't want to overshadow it, but I think this is a real good conversation starter, and I really want to, discuss this with the. I mean, I have already discussed it with the core team, and I really wanted to discuss this thing with the Sky community also to, bring a new stable coin, which is like a fractional
Great.
Bitcoin. Um, yeah, like named after the OG Satoshi himself. Something which I mean, when we see like if we are true believers of decentralization, then there is nothing better than a Bitcoin backed,
Yeah,
a stable
agreed.
coin, which is like a fixed value. Okay, one token is one Satoshi, and that's it. Um, it's as simple as that. What do you think, Richie? I think right now the
No, that
current value of the sky would be in what? Because this is something really exciting because on the CoinGecko I usually do this exercise where on the CoinGecko I really love to see the. I mean, no, this is not something new. I've been doing it for a while now, but let me share my screen and show. This will be so. This is something I just wanted to share what I do, and I mean, if I can just share my screen, give me a minute. There we are. I usually do this where I would use the SATS as a like one Satoshi as a real unit when it comes to calculating the prices of the many I mean when I'm doing the analysis of the markets or something like that. But I mean it's again everybody's choice, but I mean I don't think it is a bad thing. Like right now the value of the sky would be in the 2.2324 sorry 2.34 SATS. And I mean this is not something new, right? I mean everybody know one what is the value of, I mean, and as in today's market if you would see, like today that is the only option we have, right? That I mean Bitcoin is I think the most adopted crypto, I would suggest. What do you think? Like I mean I think Bitcoin
100%.
is something which everybody would go behind,
It's
right?
one
If
that
the
started it
person
all,
is
right?
from the
Bitcoin is now, it's crazy because
yeah,
before we never thought of Bitcoin as a stable coin, but now because of the adoption,
correct.
because what it's achieved and what's going to achieve, I still think that the take away the price, but like the mass adoption effect that Bitcoin has long term will make it extremely valuable, and the amount of liquidity that Bitcoin has now is billions and billions. And I think it was like it's probably $1 trillion at soon, right? What's the total value of Bitcoin right now? How many hundred billions? Right? There's so much
Truth.
liquidity and so much stability now that we're having a conversation about Bitcoin being a stable coin or used as a stable coin,
Yeah.
right? Which
So
is amazing.
yeah, true. So when you are looking at the Bitcoin as SATS, like those who don't know, one Satoshi usually in one Bitcoin. Okay. So it's like 10 raised to 8, right?
Yep.
So Richie, would you like to give the a definition of a Satoshi to community? I mean, most
It's a fraction. So you
probably
can,
everybody knows it, but still,
yeah, Satoshi is like
it's
breaking
a
down
fraction.
Bitcoin into its little, into Satoshis, right? It's a fraction of a Bitcoin. So instead of saying I have 1% of a Bitcoin, you could say I have this many Satoshis, right? It's how you divided Bitcoin into 1 millionth of a Bitcoin, right? So, for example, I use an app called ShakePay in Canada, and every time you make a transaction, you get satoshis as a reward, right? It's like a reward system they have. Is what it is. But at the end of the day, so is that 1.8 billion, 1.8 trillion right now, market cap?
Yeah, 1.8 trillion. Yeah,
1.8 trillion. It's competing with gold on the total valuation, which is ridiculous, right? But this also makes it
exactly.
available
This is
to be a
digital
stable
gold,
coin now,
right?
right?
Yeah, true.
How we made value
I
from
mean,
something
see,
digital,
because metals are controlled by the countries, right? I mean, I'm not
of
saying that
course,
Bitcoin is not. I mean, it is still not controlled, at least, right? Still, there are.
no
I mean, all the governments has their own
mining facilities. Yeah,
reserves, and US being one of the largest holder of Bitcoin. We are not really going away from that risk, but still, I mean, Bitcoin, at least it is not controlled by anybody, right? It is still the community is what controls the Bitcoin. It's the price of the Bitcoin would be could be controlled by the holders or large holders, maybe. I don't know, I'm not sure, so don't quote me on that. But um I am pretty sure that the Bitcoin, the decentral, like we cannot resist the decentralization which Bitcoin has, right,
no one can take your
Richie?
Bitcoin. That's the important part.
Exactly.
Nobody can force you to do anything with your Bitcoin. As where, yeah, do they manipulate the price? Of course they do, right? It happens all the freaking time with
Yeah.
all our cryptos, and centralized exchanges have a part in that. But at the core fundamental value, the
True.
structure of it,
And at this point,
no
I
one
would
can.
really, put to, yeah, sorry, Richie. Sorry to I would really
You can
like to,
continue.
put this proposal to the community, to bring a stable coin, I mean, a DAO controlled decentralized stable coin, pegged to, each one gem, one token to one Satoshi.
And the best part there is you can actually prove that that stable coin is backed by the exact satoshis that you say it is, right? So
Exactly.
as where
Make it
USDT, oh, we
everything
have it in an
decentralized.
account. Yeah,
Exactly. I mean, to start with, we will, I mean, we can start with the central, owned smart contracts, because we know production is, I mean, we have lived that. But what we would do is, at the start of the project itself, we decide a date and a time where the ownership has to be renounced. And
yeah.
I think that would be the best way to take it for. I mean, I don't know. We'll figure out the details after we decide. But I really want everybody in the community to vote that, do you want to have a Satoshi on Sky?
There's no downfall to
Would
it.
you like to? Yeah, and it would not be just on Sky network, okay? Because the stable coin, which is only on one network, doesn't make sense. So
No,
it'll, be available on the different networks as well with the liquidity. I mean, we'll come up with the. Uh, I mean, we'll come up with the how to,
game plan.
implement it architecture, but. I think, and core team has agreed. Okay, I had that discussion with the core team before also, but I really, this is some huge decision which we should, go with the community vote also. Also, I mean, I've talked to the leaders from the Sky community as well, and those who also have been, really in favor and very excited about this idea. And this, so the way it helps is, it makes us much more tradable, much more trading friendly. And sorry, Richie, you will have to take over. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, the power of having a stable coin that's backed by something you can verify is important, right? Like our traditional stable coins have been currencies, fiat. You're not able to go check these reserves whenever you'd like to because, like Tether, for example, used to say it was reserved, it was backed by 1 to 1 of US dollars. And then they changed their policy to now it's backed by US dollars and assets that they hold as a company, so the value of those assets. So we don't really know what it's backed exactly by. We don't know exactly how much value or how many US dollars are in the bank accounts that back USDT, for example. If one day it was ever to be found out that it's not fully backed and they have tens of hundreds of billions of dollars worth of USDT out there that just they're naked, they don't have anything type thing, they're not really backed by a currency, then what is Tether worth? At least with a decentralized stablecoin like a Bitcoin, a Satoshi back, um, you can verify the smart contract. You can see how many Bitcoin are backing this, right? And you just equate how many Satoshis are there and how many of these wrapped or the stable coin tokens of that are. And you can verify in a second that what is in the reserve is actually what is corresponding with the active trading amount that's there, right? And that can grow with demand over time as people buy more of it. You can mint more and buy more Bitcoin, exchange Bitcoin for this stable coin type thing. Um, and this way it gives you the ability for the Bitcoin to be traded on different networks as well, right? Because it's representing a Bitcoin is what it is. If you have 100 million Satoshis, you have a Bitcoin in whatever network you have that in. So yeah, it's I like this idea. I think that this is better than the normal stable coins because it brings transparency to it, right? This is a true decentralized stablecoin, as where the other ones were trying to work
Yeah.
with an old system that has its flaws and is corrupted and the rest. And some work, some don't. But we're trying to fit an old solution into a new, sorry, an old problem into a new solution, which doesn't really work, does it? It goes against the evolution here, right? They're just trying to bring it along, even though it's not as useful as it used to be.
Yeah, definitely, Richie, and I think that really makes sense. And I will go ahead and create a proposal in the community, and let's see the voting, and let's get it voted, and we'll see how we can take it forward. Well, also I wanted to make one point here, Richie, that for example, you must have had the exciting time when the Bitcoin ETF was approved, or SEC Joe Biden. So I mean,
Yeah,
we were there, if you remember, right?
it's one of those things where it's like it was a
And
sign of
we have
adoption,
had those
right?
discussions. Yeah, exactly. So I just wanted to, and this is something which I wanted to let the community also know some about. Okay, once in a time, once upon a time, some years back, I was doing a analysis. I mean, it was a I mean, proper scientific analysis of education. I mean, how the education affects the community, like how long does it take from like the, like for example, let's just take a country which has a zero education. And so once you start the first education cycle, and how long does it take for that particular education to reach to the 100% in all of the country. So that is something which I was doing the research on. And one thing I really learned, I mean, at that time I think it was taking some 34 years or 35 years of time from a decision, like from a think tank to the real execution in the real world. And going through the cycles and everything, like it was like 30 40. I mean, at that time, this is, I'm talking about in 2009, 10 something. Okay, but I mean, it can be so with this new tech and everything evolving super fast, with AI upgradation and everything, I think yeah, sorry guys. So from it just throws me off again. Where
The
was I, Richie?
evolution
uh,
tech.
Sorry.
You were saying something about the new tech and the evolution that you've been seeing.
Correct. Yes. So yeah. So back in the 2010s and 9 and 10, it you like during my analysis, it was taking like maybe 35 to 34, 35 years something, from first person to get that particular education to you know getting it out there with to become it a normal like thing. And I think last year, like, I was giving this into the reference of the policies which has been updated in last 1 year, right? I think it has been a tremendous success for Web3 ecosystem.
Yeah,
Changes which we have seen in last 2 years. Okay, I mean, everybody who has been in with the industry should know that. And the mental differences next time. I have been seeing, like, okay, this one, stable coin. How long it has been since it came into the US? Been almost more than 6 months now, right? 3 4 months, something. Richie, let me
the
just
Genius Act.
verify.
Yeah, it's 2 months.
Yeah, 2 months, right? And now
I'm
we
not
are
sure the exact
seeing
date.
the yeah. Let me search. Okay, I mean, let's not don't quote me on the time, but um, like, the Genius Act came in, but the stablecoin innovation, that didn't happen overnight, right? Just as the act came in, no, it took time. I've been seeing that now there are teams which are actually starting to take it into the, I mean, some of the lawyers took 2 months to just think about it and really understand it, to be able to start serving the projects. Yeah, Richie. So I think, yeah, I mean, I don't think that I'll be able to talk too much today, but yeah, it's sorry guys, but I really
Adoption.
wanted to talk a lot on this.
I
Yeah.
think that
So just
so
give it a time. That's what I was saying, that the bull run and like bear market, it's not like that. We have had so many positive changes in last 2 years. Yeah, I
yeah.
know the last couple of weeks, like maybe 5 6 weeks, it's not been good time for it's been a winter, like it comes every year, right? It's not a new thing. Right? It's
The
like season.
adoptions we have to look at. You're looking at countries, not people, not
Yeah.
small institutions, countries, some of the biggest ones in the world, all adopting and building legislation around crypto, around using it, around using the benefits of it, etc. Right? So the adoption's happening. The price, like we said this so many times before, the price of Bitcoin is irrelevant. As much as we like to fixate on Bitcoin's 100,000, Bitcoin's this, Bitcoin's that, irrelevant. The technology behind the Bitcoin and what you can do with the Bitcoin is the valuable part there, right? And people need to realize that at a certain point, Bitcoin ends up in the hands of people who realize the value of it and realize that I'd rather hold a Bitcoin for 10 years than hold a certain currency or hold another asset that will not, in my opinion, appreciate as much as the Bitcoin would, right? So if you have something that's like a true store of value that every day, because people lose Bitcoin all the time through transactions being sent to places they shouldn't have, etc. Every there's going to be less available for people to own, and there's a finite amount of it. Gold is valuable, but we always find more gold, right? The supply of gold increases every year, and there's a thing to be said of gold. Maybe there's more gold than we know, and it doesn't come to the markets because they don't want to shock the price of gold. They want to keep
Yeah,
it as
in simple
valuable as
words,
possible.
there is more gold mined than the bitcoins. It's as simple as that.
100%.
Multi-x.
So one is increasing in
Yeah.
supply, and one is a stable supply that is probably decreasing slightly every year from people losing Bitcoin. So which one do you think will be valuable in 50 years compared to the other, right? With this traditional fiat system losing value year over year, day after day, there's an argument to be said that the value of everything will keep going up because the value of the currency will keep decreasing over time because of the overinflation that is happening, right? In many currencies around the world. It seems like most currencies are having that same problem. So, us having an asset to be able to back our cryptos with, right, like a stable coin, Bitcoin stable coin, right? The true standard, um, the golden, what do you want to call it? The golden backed
Era of
um,
finance.
era. Sure, exactly. That's a great way to put it. We can now use something that is finite, that can be verifiable, that can be proven without a doubt that the reserve holds exactly what it should hold, that the smart contracts and the code is open sourced, and you can prove that nothing can leave that treasury that backs the actual currency that is the stablecoin, right? That one Satoshi. So it's, I think it's a great idea. I think that it's a true stable coin and true trustlessness that comes inherent in Bitcoin. Use that for its strengths, right? Stop using a backing that is not solid. It's not that can tomorrow go down. You see currency sometimes in like Africa and stuff that go down 30% in a day. How is that not? How is that solid? How is that like safe to hold your assets in? Right? When
True.
it can
And
change
I
that
know Bitcoin
drastically.
also used to do that, right? Remember,
It
Richie,
did, and
when
now the
Bitcoin also
opposite's
used to do
happening,
like
right?
50x, 50% down. Yeah, it's okay. But now it has matured a lot, and the things which
It's
have been
only going to be
happening
more.
in past year or something, it will even get much more matured. So, like at this point in time, I think Bitcoin is the most legal crypto in the world, right? Most adoption with the adoption as well
Yeah.
as the most institutional adoption also, right?
And when we were like
So
years
yeah.
ago, you'd see Bitcoin move 50% in a day, and you'd be like, holy crap, it went
Ah,
up and down by 20, 30%. And now you see it move
like people
5%,
see Sky
4%,
this time,
1%.
right? Because Sky is so still, in that it's not matured enough. Like
And that
so,
comes with liquidity too,
we see that
right?
fluctuations, but that doesn't mean the value of Sky is going that much up and down in the day. No, it's just supply and demand, guys. There will always be
Simple.
one sky, and that's the
Yeah.
essence which the decentralized world give us, that makes us the true powerhouse, right,
Yeah, and now
Richie?
it's liquidity. All it is having an active and
Yeah,
healthy trading liquidity in your markets that for Sky, for Evolve, for everything, right? Bitcoin has billions of dollars in liquidity, right? Hundreds of billions of
yeah,
dollars in liquidity out there that back the trading of Bitcoin. Hence, it will take a lot. It would take tens of billions to move that price, right? And it still does move, right? There's still enough people with Bitcoin out there
yeah,
that can affect the price, but we're not seeing those big moves anymore. The 50%, the 30%. I think the days of those happening in a day are done, right? We're not going to see that for, God forbid, ever going forward.
yeah,
But the same thing happens from going from a small cap crypto, right? Like Sky is right now, um, to stable.
yeah,
It comes with liquidity. It comes with the people buying Sky and adding liquidity to those trading pairs to the point where a small sell of 100,000, and small cells, not small, but compared to Bitcoin, it is. Um, those shifts don't affect the price anymore, right? There's enough liquidity there that people can actively trade, buy, and sell without affecting the price significantly, right? You're able to have that stability there. And that comes from utilization, that comes from people buying the Sky and holding and using it for its merits, building with it, right? Not just buying and selling, right? You're in
true,
this ecosystem, be active in the ecosystem. So that will come, right? And it starts with people learning about Sky, people realizing the value and the proposition that Sky has there that will bring more adoption to it. And then with that comes liquidity, with that comes healthy trading and stability, right? Bitcoin, like you said before, was never considered a stable coin because it was moving 30%, 20%, 40% up and down, right? It couldn't be a stable coin. It was unstable, and now with time, it's starting to
yeah,
become that stable, right? It's flippening. So the currencies are being unstable soon, and Bitcoin's the opposite now, right? And we see
true,
who wins long, right? The best solution is the one that's still standing after 100 years, 200 years. So I'd like to see Bitcoin in
yeah.
200 years. I won't see it. No, none of us will. But in 50 years, and 40 years, and 30 years, I'd love to see where Bitcoin is at. And if the fluctuations of price are 1% or less than a percent, and that is a big fluctuation for Bitcoin, right? So
Yeah,
we'll see. Time will tell, right? But this stable coin seems like a great solution, um, a concept that hasn't really been utilized by many, right? I don't know of
true.
any
And
other stable.
history shows us, right, Richie? History shows us that in the past there has been so many watershed movements, right? So I mean, it's not something new when the world standards change, right?
Adoption. First, they
Yeah.
resist it, then they try to smear it,
Oh,
then they try to stop it,
yeah.
then they accept it, then they
True.
use it, then mass adoption happens,
Yeah.
right? So we are past that first
Exactly.
few steps. Now we are going to
Correct.
they're starting to adopt it with us, right? And this is the world
Yeah.
we're talking about. So with that comes a lot of people coming into crypto. With that comes the responsibility to teach these new people coming into crypto how this works and how to stay safe using it, how the fundamentals of crypto, how they were built, and um, how you can use that to your advantage in a more decentralized world. So
True.
this is going to be a nice little few years coming up. I can't wait to see it come to fruition. And I hope that we're positioned in a way that we can bring real value to the next cohort of people coming into crypto, right? Where they can build on multiple networks and they can achieve their goals and build their solutions on with blockchain technology in a decentralized and open source way as much as possible. And we can get to a point where I can go to anywhere in the world, exchange, buy, sell with crypto, and not have to deal with any third parties. Period. Right? I don't have to get to a place to say, "Oh, I need to convert my currency into the dollar of this country." I can just go there and say, "I'll just pay with Bitcoin." Right? The truth, the HODL mentality works for a while, but the true concept of blockchain and Bitcoin and the rest is to use it day to
And I
day.
mean, also
It's
this
not
is
just
also true, right? I mean, when Bitcoin was started, Richie, it was not technical. Like technology was not up to the where the sky is, or where the sky, like safe harbor will be,
yeah,
right? I mean,
yeah,
safe harbor would be maybe running couple of blockchains on the. Uh, I mean, there is a vast difference in the technology that has matured and evolved over the from the Bitcoin till today. And so back in the time it was not possible. I mean right now also maybe it is not possible to be do everything on Bitcoin's network, but you don't have to do everything on BTC network, right? That is the reason where we have multi-chain ecosystem. If there will not be a one chain to another chain functionality or the transfer, the web3 ecosystem would stop existing. What do you say, Rich?
yeah.
So this is like a very fundamental part of the industry, and it will always be there. Uh, Maybe the things changed
Evolving to
from bridge,
bring
we moved to the smart dex aggregators, etc. But yeah, I mean, this will always be there. Yeah, Richie, you wanted to say
it's
something?
bringing Bitcoin with us as we evolve. So giving Bitcoin the ability to do what its mainnet can't do. So us by wrapping or making stable coins with Bitcoin, you're now able to use that stable
Yeah,
coin and have that on a network where you can do anything you could think of with the technology advancements that's on that network, right? You can scale, you can
yeah,
have transactions at a fraction of what it would be on the fees of Bitcoin, right? So the
true.
value Bitcoin was supposed to be peer to peer, right? It's no longer that use case, at least not for small transaction, for example, right? And the higher the price is and the more expensive the fees are, the less it solves that use case, which it was meant to start off solving. It did until its success overwhelmed it, and now it's more of a store of value, right? The gold, like so we now have other blockchains that can fill that peer-to-peer solution while still bringing Bitcoin with us,
Yeah,
right? Still give the core value of the value of Bitcoin itself, uh, and bringing that onto and giving the ability to use that in a network that can scale, that can do things that Bitcoin's network could not do. So this is all an evolution. We're all stepping
yeah.
stones.
Also,
With
Richie,
Bitcoin, we have what we have today, right? Now we have to build upon that and get better over time, evolve.
yeah. Also, Richie, I wanted to add one more thing here. That this idea of a Satoshi, which we just discussed. I mean, it could be be really helpful to our idea with the quick pay also, right? The layer three network, which we like peer to peer layer, like the payment gateway kind of a
Offline, that we
system
yes.
which were discussing. Yeah, I mean that can really pair up with like we really need a stable coin for our ecosystem. We really need a stable coin on Sky, so it's not a bad idea, and I'm pretty sure that community will also find it really amazing, and will vote on their decision and their thought, think their view of that particular uh, migration. What do you think, Richie?
There's no downside to it.
Yeah, it's not.
There's zero downside to making
Yeah,
it.
definitely.
It's an option, right? It's we have options in
Yeah,
life, and the more options we have, the more ability we have to make decisions for ourselves and what's best for ourselves. Um,
true.
there's it'll be the most transparent stablecoin out there because of how it can be, right? How you can prove all the assets right there at every single point in time. And this doesn't have to be done by, it could be done by anybody, right? You just go there and check the reserve and associate how many Satoshis are out there, and you now verify that the supply is actually backed one to one with one Satoshi per every one of these tokens. So there's zero downside to it, in my opinion, right? There's only upside
Yeah,
to it. So um, if I had the vote, I would say yes, do it.
thank you, Richie. Even I would say yes. And I had a talk with the Yogesh also. Yogesh was also saying, yeah, definitely, it's amazing. We are now, this is something which we, even me and Yogesh had this discussion, and it was like, okay, I mean, just imagine now we have reached in that era where we can, start thinking of Bitcoin as a stable coin. I mean, that's
That's
it's
crazy, right?
coming.
From where we came to where we're
Yeah,
going, the evolution of
yeah,
Bitcoin going from like an investment slash risky to a little more
Yeah.
stable to now considered a stable coin, it's night and day from where we
Yeah.
started, right?
True. True.
It's amazing to see the progress, and this has been in a few short years, right? Traditionally, this would have happened
Mhm.
in like 30, 40, 50, 60 years. It's been it's not even 20 years old yet. Like
Mhm.
we're we're, we're we've done so much in such a short period of time. It feels like the actual like expansion and adoption has happened the last few years, right? Where it's really gone parabolic, it's really gone mainstream and the rest, right? Where like hockey sticking up. If you see the chart, we're starting to go parabolic right now. But sometimes it feels like it's there's a lot happening, but you have to like zoom out and look at a large timeline, right? So the chart we're looking at right now is from the initial start. So let's say 2016 to now, and you're starting to see the progressive, like the ups and downs are there, but you see the progress, you see the trajectory of Bitcoin. And that comes with the fundamental core principles of Bitcoin and the tokenomics of it, right? There's only 21 million ever to be made, and there's a lot less than that, right? Because we know Bitcoin had been lost, right? There's been infamous stories of the person who lost a computer with tens of thousands of Bitcoin, etc. So we know for a fact there are a lot out of circulation already. They'll never be seen again. Um, Verifiable digital scarcity is what Bitcoin was and is. So yeah, I think that stablecoin would be
Yeah.
successful. I think that we would go up over time. It has the ability to stay stable because of how much liquidity is backing Bitcoin, right? 1.9 trillion in market cap is, or 1.4, I think it was, right? That we said earlier. Um, it's unreal. It really is. So
Yeah. One point. Yeah. 1.8
1.6
trillion.
1.8 trillion. If when we started, we thought this would be ever
Yeah.
be 1.8 trillion in value, market cap, unreal.
Yeah. True. True. Yeah, it's like 1.798 trillion. Yeah. So yeah, I think let's put the end to today's show here, because I think we already it's already time also, and we have a lot to discuss in next. Uh, so also, like, just to finish my point, that you know it there is always that time, execution time, from decision making till then from you decision making to planning to execution to uh, testing to go through all the loops and everything.